Here is this week's mini farmers market haul. I kind of just replicated what I got last week, even though I said I would get some different stuff, but I did get two different things. So blueberries, of course, like I mentioned, I like to put them in my yogurt, smoothies, eggs, zucchini, curly kale, sourdough bread, and then I also picked up some plain goat cheese, which I'm really excited about. I haven't had cheese in like a few weeks, so I'll likely put that on some toast for breakfast this morning. You can do so much with goat cheese. I'll put that in salads as well. And then a sweet potato, which I plan to either do a baked sweet potato or I'll cut the potato up in like cubes, bake them, and then like pan fry them a little bit, and then put an egg over that, or even some ground turkey. So this is what I got this week. Not much, but it'll do. I made it outside. I needed to get out of my house and put like real clothes on, so I came downtown to run some errands. I think I'm gonna go for a little walk in Central Park and then run my errands, see where the day takes me, as long as I feel well enough to do that, and yeah, enjoy the day. It's Sunday afternoon and I have just been cleaning up around the apartment, but I wanted to share my lunch really quickly because I'm excited about it. So I did some roasted sweet potato. I cut it up into cubes, sauteed kale with red onion, and ground turkey. I like to use the Siete taco seasoning packs if I want like a taco-y flavor. And then I did like a little dollop of Greek yogurt on top. This is gonna be so good. I have no idea where I left off. It's been kind of a hectic week for me. Just trying to get back into the swing of things with going into the office for work. It's also so hot in New York right now. Like today, the humidity is quite unbearable. But I have had a pretty busy week, and I was thinking about how I haven't filmed much. So this is a bit of a bits and pieces, or you likely saw bits and pieces of my week, including some food, errands. By the way, like making my meals has felt so good. Like I've always loved cooking for myself and getting creative in the kitchen, as well as cooking for others. Like I love baking, which I haven't done in some time. Like I think the last time I baked was around the holidays, which is crazy. But I feel like when I bake, it's dangerous because then I'll end up eating everything I made. But going back to cooking my meals, as I've mentioned before, I just think it's really important to be intentional with what I'm putting into my body. And one big way to do that is by making my own food. And this does not mean I'm never going out to eat. It just means as I continue to heal and figure out how to regulate my hormones, this feels like the best path. Also, it feels so grounding to just be in the kitchen, preparing something, seeing it come to fruition, and then nourishing myself. So yeah, that's kind of like where my head has been. But I was also thinking about something else, and I kind of wrote something about this on Substack um, a few days ago. But I was thinking about how, like, we get so caught up in life, and I speak for myself here. Like, I honestly feel like I've been in survival mode for so long that I forgot how to dream. Um, Everything has become so just overwhelming, obviously, with my health, but just life in general. Like, nothing makes sense. It just feels very chaotic. And while I know that it's important to trust the path and trust that everything is working out, it can also be extremely frustrating when you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I have to constantly remind myself that things will, in fact, get better. Um, Even though I can't see the timeline. And a lot of the times, that timeline will shift depending on what move I make next. So, not only do I need to be intentional with what I put in my body, but I need to be intentional with where I put a lot of my energy and thoughts. And going back to my original thought about just like how I feel like I've stopped dreaming, or I've stopped like being creative in ways that I used to be. Um, I've stopped looking for joy. And I feel like as adults, if you're a millennial, this might resonate. It can be so hard to find joy. And it is something that we have to consciously create for ourselves. And a lot of the times, the way that we create that is by remembering what joy feels like in our bodies, or just remembering what brought us joy as children. So, I was just talking to my therapist about how I did an inner child meditation. And every time I do an inner child meditation, I receive a similar message, but every like time I just have like a different feeling each time. And I won't get into like the details of what this meditation brought up for me, but one of the things that it did bring up was like you have to like release what you believed to be joyful in order to find new joy. And a lot of that has to do with giving myself permission and not seeking outside opinions or validation. And while I'm not really someone who looks for outside validation, I'm someone who I just like, if I want to do something, I just go ahead and do it. I'm not really seeking others' opinions on things. Like, truly, I am not. I actually prefer it that way. But I think a huge part of that message is about being open to receiving. And while I don't seek outside validation or other people's opinions, I have to be open to receiving support. And with that, new joy and community and love is created. And I have to give myself permission to do so. And while that requires a lot of practice and tiny shifts each time, I recognize that that's, the pattern. Um, I just, I need to be open to receiving love and not push the idea away or push people away. Um, and I think a huge part of the reason that this message has come up, not only in my life, but collectively, because I've had similar conversations with other people. I actually just had one today about how difficult it can be to accept support when you haven't really just been comfortable with that in the past. So I think as a collective, we are trying to find ways to be open to receiving and just expressing joy, like truly living our soul's greatest expression. And a lot of the times, like, we find that within creation and allowing ourselves to be artists, um, in whatever capacity, like whatever artistry means to you. Like, you are the artist of your own life, and what you do next is completely up to you. So that goes back to giving yourself permission to just do the thing and allow yourself to dream no matter how old you are. Just allow yourself to dream up the wildest of dreams. And it's no coincidence that this message is coming through and like why I've been having these thoughts. It is Leo season. And if you're into astrology, Leos are all about shining and just being the center of attention, and not in like the conceited way, but just allowing yourself to be seen. Um, and I know that can be difficult because I do struggle with that as well. Like, I struggle with wanting to live a really, really private life, but also wanting to share because I feel like when I share, I am helping someone. So this message is for me as well. But anyway, I've just been thinking a lot about that and how people have kind of lost their way, and it's time to start like being passionate again and stop thinking like being passionate about something is cringe. Like, try it. If you want to try something new, try it. If you hate it, fine. Next, like, create a list of all the things you want to try. Go down that list. If you're really good at something, amazing. If you just wanted to try it for the sake of trying it, great. You learn something new and then you move on. But it really is about just being passionate about life again. And like I said, I know that could be extremely difficult and it requires just being conscious of the effort. Um, so yeah, so those are like the thoughts that I've just been like thinking mainly today, but it's trickled into my week in some capacity, because I don't want to be like in survival mode anymore. I want to live again, like I was thinking about how as a little girl, like there were dreams that I dreamt up, and they may not be the same dreams as someone else that, you know, like at the age that I was dreaming them up, but there were things that I thought of doing that I felt fearful of sharing or expressing and saying out loud. And now, while I still, again, believe in a level of privacy, I do feel like there's so much power in expressing and using your voice in whatever way you feel comfortable, whether it's like actually speaking or writing, singing, um, whatever it may be. And sometimes, if we feel like we need to start using our voice, that could literally be just for ourselves or creating new boundaries, whatever it may be. I feel like I am rambling now, but I just feel like this was important to share. And it's something that's been heavily on my mind. And like I said, I did write a little something on Substack about that. I'll link it. Um, and I feel like we are all just trying to figure it out. And while I am not the same person as I was 10 years ago, thank God, um, there are still like remnants of her, and she'll pop up and, remind me of what I used to be and like what I used to like or didn't like. And I feel like that's really important. Although I don't want her to lead, she still lives in me. She still exists in some form. And I have her to thank for being here today. Um, so, yeah, I just think it's really important that as a collective, we are tapping into passion again and joy and expression, um, feeding our creativity in whatever way we feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, that's my story for today. That is what's on my mind. On another note, I'm feeling a lot better. I have been moving a lot, which helps. I honestly cannot wait to work out. I have not gotten the okay from my doctor yet. I think I have like another week and a half to be able to like slowly get into movement. So that means like maybe yoga or maybe mat Pilates, which I'll likely do. Like there are moments where I feel good and I like do something quickly and I'm like, oh, I'm still healing. So I do have to be mindful and careful, and I forget. But I'm feeling good. The meals I'm making are feeding me in a way that is so necessary right now. And I feel like cooking in itself has brought back a bit of like joy for me. And I didn't realize it. So I may have said this already, but I'll repeat it. Like small changes, small shifts, new rituals really do create a big impact. And sometimes we don't realize that. Sometimes we don't see the bigger picture when we're making these small changes because we want things to happen quickly, but life doesn't happen quickly. We have to make these small changes, create new rituals, and then, weeks, months, years down the line, we see what an impact those changes we've allowed ourselves to make in the long run. So it's really about choosing yourself and being devoted to your journey and remembering that you don't have to ask permission from anyone. Just do the thing, devote your time and energy to creating a life that is joyful. And when I need the reminder, I am going to come back to this. And I hope you do too. Um, but yeah, I'm going to end this here.